Now that you've created your student activities, it's time to give your students access to them. In this video, I'll show you how to start assigning your activities in Google Classroom, and we'll also discuss how you can use a feature in Google Classroom to differentiate activities for your students. So let's get started. When you're ready to assign an activity, the first thing you'll do is click on Classwork at the top of your Google Classroom page. Then you'll click Create, and then go down and click Assignment. I'll be giving my students a Communities activity to complete, so I'll type in Communities for the title. This title is what students will see on their classwork page. Then I would like all of my students to complete this activity, so I'm going to leave this option at all students. However, if you want to just assign this activity to a certain group of students, you can click on all students, then uncheck the box next to the word all students at the top, and then go ahead and select the students who you'd like to have this assignment. When you're finished selecting, you can simply click off the box, and now you can see at the top, this activity has been assigned to just 5 students. Differentiating in Google Classroom can be really beneficial for your students. For example, last year, I gave my students an initial word study assessment at the beginning of the year, and I found that my students were really all over the place in their ability level. I had students at the kindergarten level and at the 3rd grade level. So I was able to then group my students based on that assessment. And then what I would do is create different activities in Google Slides, and I would assign specific activities to specific students depending on what they needed. And those students were only able to see the assignments that were given to them. And besides word study, I've been able to differentiate for reading activities. I've given certain students extra reteaching activities in math and also challenged those students in math who needed it. I've also been able to give graphic organizers to certain students who just need some extra scaffolding in writing. You can even differentiate in group projects. So if you have one giant project you want your class to complete, but you just want certain groups of students to complete different parts of it, you can create different assignments for those different groups here. So that's a little bit on the differentiating feature. But again, if you want all of your students to access an assignment, you'll click on Students here and then click the All Students box. Now you can see it's back to all of my students. So I'll continue to fill out this information for my communities assignment. You can type in any instructions here that you want your students to see. I leave this blank a lot of the time, but it's up to you. You can add a point value to your assignment if you're planning to correct it later. You can just click and type in the point value. You can also select ungraded if you're not planning to grade it. You can also assign a due date to your assignment if you want students to complete it by a certain time. So go ahead and click on No Due Date, then click again at the bottom, No Due Date, and you can choose from the calendar when you want this activity to be completed by. Once you've filled out all of the information, you can now attach the assignment. I usually find that mine are in my Google Drive since that's where I create them, so I'm going to click the Drive button. If you have an assignment that's on your computer, you'll click Upload at the top of this screen and then click Select Files from your device to get it off of your computer. I'm going to go back to Recent. If you need to search your Google Drive for the activity, you can type in this search bar right here for what you're looking for. But when you do find the activity you want, you're going to click on it and then click Add. Now I have to decide if I want my students to just view this file or if I want to have them be a little more interactive with the activity. If you want your students to just view it, that means that they can't manipulate, change, or add anything in this presentation. However, if you click on Students Can View File, you can also change it to Students Can Edit File. If you choose Students Can Edit File, that means that they can all be working in the same presentation at once, changing what they need to, adding to it. Lastly, if you want each student to have their own copy and work in their own presentation, you'll click Make a Copy for each student. That's what I will choose. Now, if you want to add anything else to this assignment, like a YouTube video, you can click on the YouTube icon and you can simply search for a video here or type in the URL by clicking URL. You can also add a link to a website if you want them to visit a certain website. Now, before you click Assign, you want to make sure that all of your information is correct. You will not be able to change this option right here for how your students will receive their copy. So you want to make sure you have it correctly, and you want to make sure that you have the correct file listed. Now, if you want your students to have this right on their classwork page right now, you can just click Assign and you're all finished. However, if you're just kind of getting ahead of the game and you don't want students to access this presentation for a few days, you'll click on the down arrow next to the word Assign and click Schedule. This allows you to schedule the assignment, so you can choose which day that you want this assignment to appear on your student's classwork page. Then you'll click Schedule. When you're ready, you'll click Assign. Then you'll find your assignment has been posted at the bottom of your classwork page. Now, if you want to have your classwork page a little more organized like I do with these different headings, you can go ahead and watch the next video to learn how to do that. If you need to make changes to this assignment, you'll click these three dots on the right-hand side, then click Edit. You're able to change which students have access to this presentation. You can also change the title and instructions. If you do make changes, just have your students refresh their classwork page. I've done that quite a few times and they'll get the updated version. Now, what you cannot change is down here. You cannot delete your assignment here, and you also cannot change how your students get their copy, whether it's getting their own copy or working all together. If you do want to change that, what you'll have to do is click these three dots and delete this assignment and then upload it again with the correct changes. Well, that is all for this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please rate us on TPT and don't forget to tell your teacher friends where they can check out this course.